Ladies and gentlemen, archivist here. Stop looking at the red numbers on your stock market ticker. That is theater. That is a hallucination designed to keep you calm while the building burns. Stop looking at the official inflation print from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That is fiction. If you want to know why the world changed this morning, you need to look at the only chart that does not know how to lie. Look at the price of gold at 0640 a.m. Asian time today. $4,680 per ounce. That is not a trading signal. That is not a bull market. That is a coroner's report. It is the global market declaring a vote of no confidence in the United States dollar. While you were sleeping, the tectonic plates of the global economy snapped. The era of managed trade is over. The era of kinetic financial warfare has begun. This morning, the White House did the unthinkable. Just 72 hours after signaling a ceasefire, the administration initiated a kinetic tariff strike on 8 European nations. This is the phase shift we have been warning you about. The algos are confused. The pension funds are paralyzed, but the archivist system flagged this shift the moment the Tokyo markets opened. Here is the forensic dissection of the event that just liquidated the concept of globalism. The theater of Jan 15. To understand the violence of this morning's price action, you must understand the deception of last Thursday. On January 15, the media told you everything was fine. They reported that the U.S. had delayed tariffs on critical minerals. The headline screamed peace. The headline screamed stability. It was a trap. It was a classic rug pull operation designed to lure the short sellers in. The hedge funds on Wall Street and the bullion banks in London believed the narrative. They loaded up on short positions. They bet against silver. They bet against gold. They thought the geopolitical friction had cooled. They were wrong. They were simply providing the liquidity for the insiders to exit. This morning, the trap snapped shut. When the news of the European tariffs hit the wire at 0640 a.m., those short sellers were annihilated. They are currently in a state of forced liquidation. They are not buying gold and silver because they want to. They are buying because they must. They are subject to a margin call that is tearing through their balance sheets like shrapnel. This is why silver exploded 4% in a matter of hours. This is not investment. This is a hostage negotiation. The bullion banks are paying a ransom to get out of their bad bets. The kill shot $4, 680 gold. Let's talk about that number. Simeon, Lubai Boscher, do not brush this off as inflation. This is a systemic rejection. For decades, the US dollar was the safe haven. When the world got scary, you bought dollars. When wars started, you bought treasuries. Not anymore. Today, the world got scary and the dollar fell. It fell against the Swiss franc. It fell against the Japanese yen, and it collapsed against gold. The market is telling you that the US dollar is no longer the shelter. It is the storm. Why? Because the risk is now coming from inside the house. The market is reacting to the news that Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is facing a criminal investigation. Read that again. The head of the global reserve currency is being investigated by federal prosecutors for reluctance to lower rates. This crosses the Rubicon. It destroys the illusion of central bank independence. If the White House can weaponize the Justice Department to force interest rate cuts, then the dollar is no longer a currency. It is a political tool. And the rest of the world just decided they do not want to hold a political tool. They want to hold rocks, heavy, yellow rocks that cannot be subpoenaed. The physical reality, the silver squeeze, while the cameras are focused on the gold price, the real kinetic event is happening in silver. Silver is not just money. Silver is the blood of the industrial world. And right now, the patient is bleeding out. The price just smashed through $94. It is heading toward the $100 mark, a level that turns expensive into unobtainable. But the price is irrelevant if you cannot get the metal. And you are about to lose the ability to get the metal. 2 weeks, that is all you have. On February 1st, 2the revenue protection bill in Mexico goes into effect. This is not a tax. This is an embargo disguised as bureaucracy. A 15% export tax on crude ore means the supply chain for North American silver is about to be decapitated. First Majestic, Endeavor Silver, Fresnillo, these companies are not negotiating. They are facing an existential crisis. If they cannot pay the tax, they stop the trucks. If the trucks stop, the smelters in Canada starve. If the smelters starve, the factories in the US shut down. This is a force majeure event in slow motion. And it gets worse. Look at Chile, the Mantoverde mine. The strike is not over. The stockpile is gone. The report from January 7th said they had 2 days of ore left. Do the math. It is January 19th. That mill is dead. It is cold. The copper and silver that was supposed to come out of there is not coming. We are facing a perfect storm of supply destruction. Mexico is cutting the throat of supply with taxes. Chile is choking supply with strikes. And the demand side is panicking. The zombie victims. Who pays the price? It is not the traders. They just lose money. The real victims are the just-in-time zombies. I am talking about Volkswagen. I am talking about Tesla. These companies operate on a razor-thin margin of efficiency. They do not hold inventory. They believe the ships will always arrive. They believe the price will always be stable. They are wrong. With silver at $94 and climbing, the cost of producing a solar panel or an EV battery just skyrocketed. But that is assuming they can even get the silver. If the Mexican supply lines freeze on February 1st, Tesla's gigafactories will face a material shortage that no amount of software updates can fix. You cannot download silver, you have to dig it. And the people digging it are angry. And let's not forget the Cornelia Maersk. This ship is currently sitting off the coast of India at Mundra. It is scheduled to turn around and head into the Red Sea, the kill zone, in about 7 days. Maersk is betting the ship won't get hit. The insurance markets are betting it will. War risk premiums have undoubtedly surged. If that ship takes a single drone strike, the cost of shipping a container from Shanghai to Rotterdam doesn't just go up, it becomes undefined. We are looking at a $1, $5 million surcharge per voyage just for insurance. That is a tax on everything you touch. That is a tax on your coffee. That is a tax on your sneakers. That is a tax on your survival. The bag holders use. So who is holding the bag? The pension funds. The 401ks, the passive investors who are sitting in S&P 500 index funds, they are holding paper claims on companies that are about to hit a brick wall of physical reality. They are holding paper silver SLV, which claims to have metal in a vault. But when the price hits $100 and the physical shortage hits, do you think BlackRock is going to FedEx you a bar of silver? No. They will settle in cash. They will give you worthless fiat currency for your claim, while the real metal flows east to China, to India, to the nations that are buying physical assets while the West plays with paper. The archivist warned you. The gray rhino is no longer charging. It has already hit the car. The resource denial protocol. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am a researcher of the end of the current paradigm. The system is entering a terminal phase. You must act now to secure your position before the doors close. Rule 1, liquidate the zombies. Get out of the companies that rely on frictionless global trade. Sell the fast fashion retailers. Sell the consumer electronics companies that rely on cheap Asian shipping. Sell H&M. Sell Zara. Sell Apple. They are fragile. They are exposed. When the shipping lanes close and the silver runs out, their margins will evaporate. Do not be the bag holder for their lack of preparation. Rule 2, own the logistics of war. If the oceans are closed, the land becomes king. Look at the rails. Buy Union Pacific UNP. Buy Canadian Pacific CP. If the ships cannot dock, the goods must move by train. The North American rail network is the only circulatory system we have left. It is old. It is heavy. It is undeniable. Rule 3, physical possession is the only law. Do not buy paper gold or paper silver. Do not buy SLV or GLD. If you cannot hold it in your hand, you do not own it. You are merely a creditor to a bankrupt counterparty. Buy physical silver. Buy Hecla Mining, HL, or Pan American Silver, PAAS companies with assets in jurisdictions that might actually let them mine. And regarding the copper pennies pre-1982 US cents, I am not telling you to melt them down. That is illegal. The Federal Reserve will put you in a cage for destroying their currency. I am telling you to sort them and save them. View them as a survival option. They are 95% copper. Their melt value is already triple their face value. In a hyperinflationary collapse, a bucket of copper is better than a bank account full of zeros. Rule 4, short duration. Do not hold long-term government debt. Do not buy the 30-year Treasury bond. With the Fed under investigation and the White House weaponizing rates, the bond market is a minefield. Keep your liquidity in short-term instruments. 3-month T-bills or physical cash. Do not lock your money up in a burning building for 30 years. The pantry audit, the insurance adjusters have left the building. You are now your own central bank. You are now your own supply chain manager. I want you to stand up, go to your pantry, open the door, look at the shelves. Do not count the boxes. Count the days. If the trucks stop moving on February 1st, if the ships stop moving on January 26th, how long can you last? Do you have 90 days of calories? Do you have 90 days of antibiotics? Do you have 90 days of coffee? Tell me in the comments below, what is the one specific item in your house that you are terrified of running out of? Is it insulin? Is it ammunition? Is it baby formula? Be specific. I want to see the list of vulnerabilities. Because if you do not know your weak point, the market will find it for you. This is Archivist. The protocol is active.